That's right, everyone. Those old fossils and human remains, they're transphobic and racist. Thank God we have the Transdo Task Force that is fighting for Ukabuka, born in the year 1000 BC, to make sure Ukabuka's remains are not falsely identified and attributed to the wrong gender. What would we do without the Transdo Task Force making sure that we don't blindly go around labeling remains male and female? That would be absolutely ridiculous if that was the case. So that's right, they're coming for the bones. This is a huge like checkmate argument for against the transgender agenda, is that you can kind of just point to human remains and be like, it's a dude, we can tell that's a dude, because believe it or not, there are many differences between men and women that aren't just testosterone and hormones. Many differences. Doesn't matter how much testosterone or estrogen you take, your bone structure will not change, your weight distribution will not change. You can jack up a woman with as much testosterone as Rich Piana has, and she will still throw like a girl due to the weight distribution in her hips. Her throwing mechanics will be different. She will throw like a girl because, of course she will, because she is one. Duh. Thank God we have the Transdo Task Force, these absolute brave freedom fighters fighting against a common enemy, which is anthropologists. I mean, I can't think of a more bigoted, racist, hateful group of people than anthropologists and people that study bones. What other reason would you have to identify bones by the sex of the person they belong to other than transphobia? There's no other reason to do that other than transphobia. Same thing with the race of the person. There are no differences between strongman Thor Bjornsson and a long-distance Kenyan runner. No differences. These are the same people. Absolutely. And if you disagree, you're racist. Flat out. And you thought the fight was over? What about the names of the monkeys? Have you ever considered the names of the monkeys and the implication that they are perpetuating colonialism and white supremacy? Obviously, they are obviously doing that. That's why we named them that. Duh. So this has got to be one of the most outrageous articles I've read. The person that posted all this garbage on Twitter, unfortunately, has privated their account. I have some of the screenshots. Truly wild. The sheer absurdity of all of this just proves that there are so many people in the modern era that have no purpose and no fulfillment in their life, so they just have to create ridiculous problems to crusade against, to have some degree of self-respect, I guess. That's just me trying to somehow rationalize this craziness. This new argument that gender and sex are somehow different is truly wild, because throughout all of human history, and still throughout most societies, gender and sex are synonyms. Heck, I bet you can go on synonyms.com, type in male, and it's going to say man. Type in female, it's going to say woman, because these are synonyms and have always been synonyms. Boy, male, child, woman or girl, young female. That's how it's always been. And this craziness, this is the absolute definition of a sunk premise argument, where their entire house of cards is built on, well, gender and sex are not the same thing. And they're trying to somehow warp the idea that it is, that just because you're a man doesn't mean you're a male. It's wild. It is so wacky. This really is like something out of 1984 with Newspeak, where things can be double ungood. It's wild what they are doing with the language surrounding men, women, boys, girls, and just pushing shit that everyone kind of knows is garbage, but so many people are just like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to fucking stir up a whole bunch of shit. And that's really what's happening in like the medical fields, is that so many of these doctors that don't agree with it just don't really say anything, because they're just like, look, man, I got student loans. I just don't want to get fucking canceled. I just want to live my life as a doctor. I went through med school. I don't want to deal with this shit. So many people just don't speak up unless they're just like old and don't care. So genuinely wild. I mean, Of course they're gonna come for the bones. Of course they're gonna come for the bones.